Hello. I'm gonna try something a little different in this video. We've never done anything Monster Hunter related on the channel before. Partially, of course, because it's a MMO-like, there's no real static ending sort of thing, and playing co-op would require playing from two different systems, and Ronaldo doesn't really play Monster Hunter that much. I play Monster Hunter too much. But I kind of just had an idea for this video for a simple. It should end up being a kind of long video, like single video. Um, but I just had an idea for this video come to me based on actually stuff that's happened on my stream in the past. I do stream quite a lot of Monster Hunter. And I thought, that seems like an interesting idea. And I'll get to exactly, obviously it's like, the video title, but I'll, explain exactly what it is and where the idea came from after we kind of get in and I introduce my character, as it were. Slade. I've been playing Monster Hunter since the very first game. Not actually the PS2 version, but the PSP version, which was probably the better place to start. I don't know if anybody who finds this video knows much about the original PS2 Monster Hunter 1, but oh man, that's it's rough. Yeah, you can see here I have 762 hours, and that's just in World. I've put in that much and more in earlier entries in the franchise. I've been using. I kind of swap back and forth between a male character, always named Slade, and I actually invented him in Phantasy Star Online, the original version on the Dreamcast, way back in the day. And I've been using him in games where you make your own character pretty much ever since, especially MMO style stuff, or MMO light stuff in particular. And sometimes he's a female character because the armor sets look different. I'm going to go ahead and, well, it doesn't, for what we're doing, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to hop into my own personal squad. I am the Bug King. I've called myself that for a long time. I've always loved the bug armors. You see me wearing the King Beetle there. And we won't be wearing that for what's going to be going on. I kind of wish I'd maybe remembered to put on the set we were going to use for this video. But yeah, so the premise of the video was, so back in I want to say 4 Ultimate. It might have been in Generations. It might have been Generations when this happened. A buddy of mine and I, we just needed a whole bunch of ore, and specifically we were trying to farm ancient weapons, which you get from mining in high rank, pretty much exclusively volcano maps. And I always streamed whenever we were playing, and I was just like, it seems kind of ridiculous to stream the game if all we're going to do is just be gathering stuff, right? Just doing gathering runs, mining runs in particular. But I was like, whatever. My stream's not popular. It's not professional. I mostly do it just for funds. Everyone hopes that a channel gains traction, but, it's like, whatever. And we ended up doing it for a good handful of hours, and people, who already came to the stream for Monster Hunter kept showing up, and we're like, what are you doing? It was like, we're not hunting. We're just gathering today. And, oh, what am I doing? Sorry. And people stuck around. I was kind of surprised by that, but people stuck around, and we just spent the time talking while doing just regular gathering. I even was like, hey, we've got 2 more spots open if people want to join us. Join us. And we will, we'll just do gathering. You don't even have to go with us. You can just go run whatever other missions you want in the hub. I wish people still showed up to the stream as much as they used to for hunting. Monster Hunter World is a lot easier for a lot more people to stream, so. And it became a lot more mainstream. Let's take off the layered armor here. We're going to wear... Well, actually, there's one... Oh, no, that's fine. Oh, right, yeah, because I'm actually wearing the commission headpiece. So I threw this together as my gathering set. Again, because I'm the Bug King. So I made it out of Vespoid. Love the way this set looks. Always loved this set. Got the biggest, waspiest looking thing on my arm there. It's funny because Insect Glaive is not actually my main weapon. Heavy Bowgun is. And this is just the closest Kinsect that looked kind of like it fit with the armor. And the gathering item set, which the bullets are totally useless in, but whatever. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really fun and chill to just do gathering instead of hunting, which can be fun but can also be frustrating. If you're a hunter, you probably know what I mean. And I just had the idea somewhat recently of, what if I just made a video for, YouTube, for Super Game Friends, for whatever, that was just gathering and chill, right? And heck, World gives us the ability to kind of give ourselves even a goal within just that. Oh, whoops. I should do those limited bounties at some point. But yeah, so I've got my registered bounties. These 6 here, they're all gathering based. And I did that on purpose. I prepped that for this video. Hard armor spheres all the way down, because armor spheres are kind of important. And yeah, so we're just gonna do some gathering for a video. That's it. I might need to check my mantles. We're not going to fight any monsters that try to start crap. We're not dealing with it. Put on the ghillie mantle and run away. Because we don't need none of that. That's not what the point is. Yeah, I don't know why I kind of forgot that I didn't have any use for this stuff. Yeah, whatever. Glider mantle. And I'll just resave that stuff there. Okay. We'll just eat for whatever, because it doesn't really matter. Chef's choice. Go for it. Let's watch this. We'll go ahead and watch this. I mostly do everything in the hub now, because I'm always playing online with friends and doing Colv, Tear-Off runs, and all that sort of shenanigans. So I don't get to see this animation very much more. And even when I am down here, I tend to skip it, because I'm just, impatient. Like, go, get to the hunt. So, and since that's the pretty much polar opposite of what I want this video to be, we're going to watch that animation. And we did, and it looks delicious. I get why the handler's so obsessed with food in this game, because, man, they made food look so damn good in this game. It's woof. Oh, what am I doing? I don't even need to... I don't know. I actually, my head just went right back in time to the old games where you would have put up a... Oh, I forgot what they're called now, but it was just 50 minutes to wander around a map. So, yeah, I don't even need to do that. We can just do this. A square. And for this first episode, like, it's got to be the Ancient Forest, right? Like, why... if we're going to do this very first video on Super Game Friends of Monster Hunter World, we got to start in the first map. So yeah, this is just going to be a chill... I don't want to call it a ASMR-like video, but, a relaxed video. Although don't be surprised if I still find some way to freak out and swear at something. If you watch the channel at all, I have a bad habit of swearing a lot. And I hope the audio's balanced. It should be. Because I try to keep it balanced effectively for stream, and I'm using the same audio settings for this because I have no particular need for them to be different. So if the game's a little quiet, that's fine. It might even be a good thing. Hopefully I'm not too quiet. Hopefully I'm plenty loud. Well, obviously I don't want to be too loud in a video like this, but you know what I mean. Audible. Audible.com. No, not sponsored. Not yet. Audible sponsored a video like this, I wouldn't even know anymore. Like everything people say about them sponsoring, just literally every one of those sound would be correct. All right, we're gonna go this way. Yeah. So Monster Hunter. Like I said, we've never done a Monster Hunter video before, so I guess I can talk about my personal history with the franchise. Like I said, I've started from Gen 1, and that's one of those things that's technically true, but is kind of stretched. I kind of intentionally leave it at that, as it were. I hate this. Special gathering points don't count towards those bounties. Irritating. Because I didn't play very much of Gen 1 before moving to Gen 2. Because kind of when I found it, the second one, I think on the PSP, the first release in the US is just called Monster Hunter Portable. And then Monster Hunter 2 got released here as Monster Hunter Freedom. And then 2G, or what we would eventually, they finally nailed down a naming convention, and then World came out, but they nailed down a naming convention after going to Nintendo of calling it Ultimate in the US. So, what would be 2 Ultimate, and it's funny because it still shortens to a U because we called it Freedom Unite. Came out as Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. I know someone who once argued with me that there was only 2 PSP releases in the US, and no, there was 3. The first 2 Capcom had this like theme for their PSP box releases. The covers all looked effectively the same, with like a different piece of art coming out of a circle in the center. Like I actually recently picked up Ghosts and Goblins Ultimate for the PSP, and it uses that early PSP Capcom motif of that style of box art. And it's funny because the first 2 use that. The first one has like Rathalos coming out of it, which would make sense. And then the second one had Tigrex, because Tigrex was the poster child for Vanilla 2. And then Freedom Unite had a completely different style of box art, but the box art cover had Nargacuga, because Nargacuga was the poster child for 2 Ultimate, 2 Unite, 2G, whatever, Freedom Unite, whatever. At this point, I kind of like retroactively calling them, number Ultimate. Although we didn't have a 1 Ultimate, even though there was a 1G. The Monster Hunter 1 that got released in the US is kind of weird, because they took I don't know why I picked up that track. They took like 1 or 2 things that were being made for Red Pits. I just see a flower looking thing, and I'm like, oh, that'll count, and it doesn't. Yeah, they took the most obvious thing is that they took, this doesn't count, is that they took dual blades. They added dual blades to the American Monster Hunter 1, and those are actually technically from Monster Hunter 1G, or Monster Hunter G, in Japan. So our version is kind of this weird, quarter step towards being Monster Hunter G or Monster Hunter Ultimate, but it's not. But yeah, I only played that for very, very little. I think I beat Yin Cuckoo, and that was it. Before, oh look, this newer version of this same game, or franchise, is out. I should get that instead. And 2, ooh boy, Freedom, as we call it in the U.S. I played the holy hell, but not even nearly as much as then Freedom Unite came out. But this was the first time where I explicitly had been playing for hundreds and hundreds of hours, and was like, oh my god, the expansion, as it were, this upgraded version of the game is coming out. Oh man. And you could, of course, stick your memory card in there and use your character and just continue working the same character. So I did that into Freedom Unite, and it was awesome. And I put something idiotic like 2,000 hours into Freedom Unite. Just to, yeah, that's what I wanted, not the herb. So yeah, and a lot of people, I'd say most of the oldie hunters talk about 2 the most. At least that's my experience. But the series has picked up, like every new release has done a pretty good job of picking up, you know, a bunch of new players when it came out. So I've definitely met people who've joined in at basically every single US release. I love, I don't know how common this really is, but I love a thing I saw where, so in Monster Hunter World, in the story, you are part of the 5th Fleet. And you're coming to the new world after, of course, the first 4 fleets, who have all been the ones that establish, like, the Astera hub and all that stuff. And then the 5th Fleet showed up, and as the members of the 5th Fleet, we do most of the acting, like, major footwork against monsters, where the first 4 fleets, got that foothold in the new world first. But I've seen some people on the internet use the fleets as a way of saying, like, what game or what generation of Monster Hunter you started in. So, if you started in Monster Hunter World, you'd be just a 5th Fleet person. If you started playing in Monster Hunter 3, or Tri, or 3 Ultimate, then you'd be 3rd Fleet, etc. And I love that. I love that idea of, like, utilizing in-game stuff to in-game universe things to inform on the real world community, or at least the way we talk about it. Again, I don't know how many people actually do that, but I thought that was a really fun thing. And of course, I get to sound all poncy and fancy and say that I'm from the 1st Fleet. Like, barely. Like, I got on that boat at the last possible second and spent most of my time after we got here doing nothing, and then the 2nd Fleet showed up and I did most of my work with them. But technically, I'm 1st Fleet. But yeah, so I put way too much time into Freedom Unite. And then I went to Tri. Like, I've picked up every game since then when it came out. And Tri is fantastic. It gets a bad rap from some people because people who suck couldn't stand the swimming, and they suck and couldn't figure it out. I loved it. I loved adding that 3rd dimension, that omnidirectional concept of having to deal with monsters in a whole new way. It was really fun. Although, hilariously, I still... One, in Vanilla Tri, they didn't have freaking Blessioth. Like, what the crap, guys? It's Blessioth. You didn't put the most iconic water monster the franchise has ever known. A giant fish wyvern. You didn't put that in the base form of the game that introduced swimming. I spent the entire time I played Tri complaining about that to just absolutely everyone who would listen. I think Tri is also... Oh, am I done with... Oh, yeah. Okay, I don't need the flora anymore. Cool. But yeah, I complained about that to just forever. And then 3 Ultimate came out, and it had Blessioth in it, and I was very happy. I guess if you asked a lot of people now, the most iconic... He's not technically a water monster, but the most iconic, like, aquatic monster would be Legia Cruz, which people are rightfully, like, still clamoring for in World. And World definitely deserves it. Like, that is, Legia Cruz deserves it. Legia Cruz deserves to be in World. I agree with people. Although, for my money, so after, the third generation, then Monster Hunter 4, now, we didn't get vanilla Monster Hunter 4 in the US. We skipped straight to 4 Ultimate, and that was mildly frustrating because we were waiting for a good while on that one, which was, in and of itself, of course, that's irritating to be waiting for something you want so badly. And like there were times when it felt like maybe Capcom of Japan just decided that it wasn't selling in the US or something, and oh no, we're never gonna get it. And then, but in the long run, I think it made sense. I think people in the US didn't really cop to the methodology of releasing, the vanilla game and then the upgraded G version so much, because you had to pay, full money for the G upgrade. It wasn't like buying an MMO expansion where it was only like $30 or something, right? Now you had to shell out another $50 or whatever. So they probably just decided that, hey, we're not going to do that. We'll just release Ultimate, for Ultimate, because PR, not PR, business strategy or whatever. For Ultimate is absolutely amazing. 4 Ultimate and World for me are tied as the best Monster Hunter games, and 4 Ultimate ekes it out a bit because, I mean, it's a bit of an unfair comparison because really we should be having to compare Iceborne, like Monster Hunter World plus Iceborne, to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, because we're comparing a base game, which is what, the vanilla game, which is what World is, to a G release, an Ultimate release. So, that comparison isn't entirely fair, but it's still there. You kind of have to in the U.S. make that comparison because that's just what happened here. And 4 Ultimate beats out World by virtue of having just so much more content, so much more kind of everything. It's hard to explain unless you've been playing Monster Hunter yourself for a long time, but there's a lot of kind of meta aspects to Monster Hunter that mushrooms. So honey, mushrooms, bone piles, that's what we really need right now. That World is kind of lacking, and is the sort of stuff that we're really hoping starts to put in a much bigger appearance in Iceborne. And definitely, like, it needs more variety. That's been World's one big, like, hard sticking point, is that there's not much variety in World. And 4 has variety in just spades. It is drowning in variety. And one of the big ones for me was that it introduced insect monsters, like actually giant specialized insect monsters, not just the Queen Vespoid, which was obviously just a very slightly tooled Vespoid model. Whoops. I actually don't know if there's something over there or not. I mean, in terms of the stuff I'm looking for. Which I don't know if anybody who's going to end up watching this is going to remember the Queen Vespoid from 2 Ultimate. Which was just a giant Vespoid that kind of flew around in figure eights and created kind of particle clouds of poison, I think it was. That makes sense, wouldn't it? And she could hurt you, like if she had kind of a charge forward attack, and she had it. Gen 2's hitboxes are legendarily bad, and she had a hitbox that was something like twice the size of her model. I swear to God, It was, I swear to GOG, it was it was ginormous. It was stupidly big. And that was just the only bug monster, like the only big bug monster. And that, I mean, did that really count? I don't think so. uh, 4 finally brought us proper giant bug monsters. I actually spent the first 500 hours, like no shit, the first 500 hours of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate wearing only bug equipment. No joke. Only bug equipment. Bug armor, bug weapons. That was it. I wouldn't use anything else. My phone went off. I was really not expecting that, and it kind of scared the shit out of me. But yeah, I can't emphasize that enough. 500 hours only wearing bug equipment, because I am the bug king. That was my thing. I love bug stuff. I love bugs in real life. They are my favorite, like, archetype of animal, of creature in the world. Love them. Ants, actually, are my favorite. Ants are so cool. There's a bajillion kinds. Oh man, they're just, I don't know. I have a bad memory, unfortunately, and I'm not, like, professionally studied on ants. Just lots of YouTube videos and that sort of thing. I've been meaning to pick up some books on the subject. But yeah, ants are super, super cool. And yeah, I am just running blindly around the map, I should note. I'm not trying to drag out what we're doing here, but I'm also not gonna let myself, like, oh well, we have all the mining we need. I'm not gonna let myself do it, like, really fast. That's not the point. The point was to be chill, relaxed video, which I think. Well, let me finish what I was saying. Then I'll get back to that thought, hopefully, if I remember to. But, yeah. So, bugs. I love bugs. And so, for me, like, the one thing I want so badly that nobody else wants, nobody else gives a crap. If you asked anybody who plays Monster Hunter, I am very, very likely, and that's just my phone reminding me because I didn't check the text. If you asked anybody else, like, what monsters do you want to return in Iceborne or just in the future of Monster Hunter World, I pretty much guarantee you that nobody but me is going to mention the bugs. But I really, really want my bugs back. Let's see, bone piles and mushrooms. Give me back my queen Seltos. Love that monster. Love Nursilla. I love Queen Seltos more. The whole Seltos, Queen Seltos symbiotic fighting thing and whatnot was super, super cool. And Nursilla was not a spider, for one, despite the spider, like, design. It only had 4 legs. Or 6 legs? It did not have 8 legs. Which was kind of funny. When it was so clearly a spider. Blue mushrooms? They're there. Discard. Yeah, and then so yeah, that was 4 Ultimate for me, was that kind of, that was so much of the experience. And then Generations came out, and Generations is divisive. It has problems. It was made by a different team, the team that made the Monster Hunter MMOs, like the proper PC MMOs in Japan. And if you know those, they are kind of legendary for having gotten very. Wait, what? I thought I was picking up that Wiggly Lichy. Wiggly Lichy. I did not. That was weird. The MMO was kind of legendary for having just gotten pretty away from the more or less grounded feel of Monster Hunter to being very anime, as we say these days. And Generations definitely was more reserved than the MMO had gotten, but it was definitely way, way more over the top than Monster Hunter has ever been. And that's not a bad thing. There is stuff that brought about that was really cool. The like, not secret, but the super monster, the initial super monster, the I can't remember what it's called anymore. It was a Monster Hunter cuttlefish that used its tentacles to pretend that it had like multiple dragon heads coming out of the ground and stuff. I sorely wish I could remember that thing's name now. And for how ridiculously, it shot lasers and crap, which was stupid in its way. It was stupid, but it was also super cool. It wasn't very Monster Hunter, but it was really cool. I really, really liked that guy. Even if the fight eventually got kind of boring once you really knew what you were doing. A lot of the what I like to call the super giant monsters are like that. Ever since Lao Shenlong, the super giant monsters have always been kind of infamously boring once you know what you're doing. And that even includes the Fatal Eye, the Fatalists, the Fatalicy, the Fatalist monster group. But yeah, Generations was a thing. It was trying to be like a celebration of all the generations of Monster Hunter that had happened up to that point. Hence the name in Japan. In America, the Japanese name was Cross, and that name still made sense because Cross is essentially short for crossover. And the idea of being, of course, that it was bringing together all the different generations of Monster Hunter, which all take place in different villages. I've actually played. It's technically part of Gen 3, but it's clearly built on Gen 2. But I imported and put hundreds of hours into Monster Hunter Portable Third, even. So, there was. Oh wait, am I done with the honey? I think I am. I'm forgetting what I am and am not done with. I need bone piles and mushrooms, right? And now we play World. Generations happen, and now we play World. It's going back to I remembered the thought. Going back to the thing about the different fleets being used as, like, to distinguish when somebody's played. Unfortunately, that falls apart a little bit because Monster Hunter Generations would strictly be the 5th generation. I've had people argue with me about that, which I think is kind of weird, claiming that, it's actually still part of the 4th generation, and no, it's not. Like, I don't know what basis that argument comes from, because Gen 2 was built on the same engine as Gen 1, so, like, saying it's an engine thing doesn't really mean squat. Hi, Great Jawgrass. Oh, there's some bone pile. I know what I'm doing. Shh. Yeah, like, it's its own generation, but for whatever reason, it's not being counted in both the community and seemingly the devs kind of agree. Like, it's kind of a spin-off game, so it's not being counted in the same way as a generation. Just funny because the American name's Generations. I'm saying the word generation a lot. Yeah. I do love me some Monster Hunter. Big fan. I said I've put so many thousands of hours into the franchise at this point. It's kind of creepy in a way. But I need mushrooms. I'm going to just use the mini-map. I'm not going to pull out the map. I'll just use the mini-map. Oh! Oh, I was being... That's why I couldn't see squat. Wait, I thought I was... Oh. No, that's a fern. That's a flora. So's that. There's some stuff. Okay, yeah, whatever. There's stuff to the direct east there, so let's do that. Favorite monster? That's a common question, right? Favorite monster? I've always had a hard time answering that question. And after my big spiel about bugs, you'd think I'd be like, oh, the Queen Seltos for sure, or oh god, I need to pick up Generations Ultimate because they made an insect super monster in that one, which made me very happy. I haven't actually played Generations Ultimate. I need to pick up the Switch copy of that at some point. It's hard to go back though for me. I'm not the type of person who goes backwards in this style of game franchise. Like it's the sort of game franchise for me that's always growing. Like it's always building on concepts rather than just giving you a new entry that gives you more of what you already love, like Zelda or Mega Man or something like that, or Mario. So it's for me, and there's so much quality of life improvements as the franchise has gone on. Uh, it's just really hard to go backwards for me, but definitely gonna have to do that someday for no other reason than to fight that that mantis thing. I forgot its name. God, I'm so bad with names. So yeah, favorite monster? Don't know. Hard to say. One of the ones I always like to say when people say like, "Oh, what's your favorite monster to fight?" Uh, I always love saying this one because it annoys so many people because it's such a famously frustrating monster that people don't like to fight. But I love fighting Rajong. If you know that monster, he's not in World yet. Let's go turn in these bounties. We've got everything we came here for. To the trade yard. Yeah, I love fighting Rajong. And he can be annoying. Don't get me wrong. I have sworn a lot at that fight, but oh man, it's sword and shield or dual swords, and then just dance. That's for me the most fun fighting monsters is when it feels like you're dancing with them, and no fight feels as much like a dance to me as taking sword and shield or dual blades, but especially sword and shield mainly because it's one of my favorite weapons to Rizhadong. It's so just bouncing around his feet, you know, trying to dodge his fists and whatnot is so much fun. Uh, you know, and again, like favorite monster design, like I don't know. There's so many good ones, and there's so many weird ones, and I like weird, I like good, and I like unique, and sometimes I like classic. Like one of the things I love about the bog standard Fatalist is how it just looks like the classic Western dragon, the long neck and the big wings and long tail. It looks like Maleficent's dragon form or something, right? Like it's so classic that it makes you believe in the fairy tales in the world, both in the world of Monster and in the real world. Like it's so classic, right? And for some people they don't like it because they consider it boring or rote or whatever. But oh man, I love the Fatalist design for that. Uh, love that classicness. Gotta pet the boogie. Poogie's the best thing. Oh man, love the Poogs. All right, let's turn those bounties in. As long as the job gets done, who cares how it's done? The important thing is that we're still around to greet the sun the next day. So, Sapphire Star, tell me what you found. She's supposed to be like... God, I forgot the region her accent is from. It's kind of French sounding. I cannot for the life of me. It's an area like around France. Great character. She is so goddamn pretty. Monster Hunter World, oh man, the characters in this game are so pretty. All of them. Even the random NPCs walking around town. Everyone is just... Oh, girls are so hot. Guys are so hot. Why is everyone so hot? Global warming. That meme popped in my head. Oh, boo! They didn't give me any gathering ones. I don't even know if anybody's going to watch this video, but I figure I'll gather up another 6 gathering bounties as I do my regular hunting, and maybe do another one of these. By maybe, I mean probably, because it's really easy for me to make a video like this. And it's really chill. And I don't know if you can hear that noise in the background. My gerbils are running in their wheels. And no, I don't mean the gerbil in my head. I mean like the actual gerbils that I keep in real life, and I feed them food. And I occasionally annoy them by picking them up. I guess before I end the video... I kind of showed off my character. I'll just show off my room, actually. That makes sense, wouldn't it? If you were going to show off, you know, yourself, I don't know, in real life. And of course, surprise, it's, well, if they load in, it's full of bugs. I put one of every single bug in the game somewhere in the room. There's like 2 duplicates, I think. Because unfortunately there's not enough different bugs. And then obviously you can't put bugs in the water, so there is fish in the water. I made a point of putting the Hercules beetle as one of those duplicates, because he was super cool and big, and I like him. Oh yeah, and I love having the web here. That's so cool. And oh man, those flying dudes are super cool. It was so funny to me when I found out you could catch those guys. And you shoot the net out and it like grabs them and just, just drags them down to the ground. And it looks really funny because they clearly do not fit just at all. This is such a... World is such a pretty, pretty game. And just coming here and like looking at your pets just out there in the beautiful sky, and it's super calm in your room. Sometimes in Monster Hunter, I have to remember to just stop and just kind of enjoy living in that world. I can understand why people get attached to MMOs. Like, Monster Hunter is my MMO for me, and the world of Monster Hunter is just so pretty, and you can just stand in it. I've done that, even in past games where the graphics weren't as good. I've just stood in some of the maps, just looking out over, you know, from a cliff or something, and looking at the sky and stuff, and it's real nice. Yeah. That's my room. Oh, I guess I'll just kind of show off what this set's actually doing. Hunger Resistance 3, that, you know, as you expect when you're out gathering, with what we were doing anyway, that you'd be out there for a while, so my stamina never depletes. Geologist, because, you know, getting all those extra gatherers. Everything else, a Master Gatherer, right, that's coming from a charm, I believe. Forager's Luck, is that... Oh, Forager's Luck and Detector are coming off the Geomancy charm. Oh, right, the Commission Gorget. That's why I was wearing that, because it gives Master Gatherer. I actually really like the way it looks on the set, too. I probably would have turned off the helmet or hidden it anyway, just because the idea was me being Slade, of course, being the character living in that world. I love that they gave you the hide helmet option in this game, and while the layered armor system is a bit limited, I appreciate that it's in there, so you can do... And hey, the Commission Gorget's something I can put on my character whenever, because it's a layered armor. Yeah, so that was just the set I was wearing. I mean, like I said, I built it into the Vespoid just because I love the Vespoid armor. Bug King. Oh, my guild card. Let's do the guild card. View! Handler in the spring outfit, the bug outfit. Oh, my heart. There are people out there who have a problem with the handler. These people are fools who know no good taste at all. Handler's fantastic. This actually wasn't what my card looked like for a very long time. The vast majority of the game, 600 plus hours of this game, my card, probably actually almost 700 hours of the game, my card didn't. It was a different pose, it was a different background, and then I was kind of like, you know what, I want to change, so I changed it to this. Just funny because like the character Slade in my head is not doesn't smile a lot. He's not exactly a romantic character or anything like that. So this was more for shits and giggles. But yeah, I, this set I'm wearing in there with the Griffin Bazooka, just because heavy bowgun, like I said, it's my main gun or my main weapon of choice. And no, my hunter rank's not stupidly high like some people's is. Like, whatever. I play for fun, not for bragging or anything. And here you can see my weapon usage, 484 heavy bowguns. I'm actually surprised light bowgun's only 181. I feel like I've been using that a lot lately, but sword and shield 234, and yet I feel like I haven't been using that nearly as much as I would like to. Yeah, give you an idea of what I like to use here. I am terrible, absolutely atrocious with bow. I built a bow set recently to try to get better, and I do not understand bow in Monster Hunter World. Also, the cat's wearing that, the ladybug stuff, because, you know, bugs, in the card here. You might have noticed that's not what he's wearing anymore. I'll exit out of here in a second, but I'll show you, I'll explain why he's dressed the way he is. Nope, I don't have platinum yet because I need the Crown Master. Anybody who doesn't have platinum in this game at this point, really, it's these, right? Unless you only recently started, it's the crowns. And I had wanted to get platinum before Iceborne came out, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I have it in me, especially since for 2 of my mini and 2 of my giant crowns are Nurg and Black Diablos. And while hunting like normal forms of them is not hard, it's just, you know, a time sink I'm not exactly looking forward to. Yeah, here's my crowns. I need a small Great Gyros, large Rathlos, large Diablos. Zora doesn't count. Both Black Diablos, both Nurg, small Tio, both Luna. Although Luna doesn't count for the trophy because of DLC. Small Val, Kolv wouldn't count anyway, and Zeno doesn't have size difference, neither does Behemoth and neither does Leshen. And these 2 wouldn't count anyway because they're DLC. Cat outfit, right. So the idea of the outfit he's wearing now, and of course since he's over here it doesn't work as well, but the death, I think that's the Death Stench body armor, the cat has no feet. They just look like they're floating around like they're supposed to be an undead ghost. But then by putting the ladybug hat on and turning it black, you'll notice that the ladybug, of course, has little yellow eyes and beetly boppers. So he kind of looks like a shadow from Kingdom Hearts. When I saw that and I made that connection in my head, I was like, yes! I'm gonna do that. Okay. So, yeah. If you actually watched this and watched the whole thing, well, probably a means that you just found it relaxing as well. And I don't know, it's a different kind of monster. Most Monster Hunter stuff online is, it's all power playing. You know, it's all speed runs. It's, I don't know. So I just wanted to do something different. There's probably some other videos out there that are kind of like this, but I don't know. I'd never seen it, so I just did it. Yeah. Hopefully people enjoyed it, and I'll probably make another one even if nobody watches this one, just because I can. So, good night, and happy hunting.